Hi there, I'm Cath. Welcome to my channel Made by Cath Craft. Thank you very much for joining me today for this Christmassy Makes video. I really love crafting for Christmas, and this year I've been busy sewing and knitting, and I've got some projects to share with you in this video. There's a mixture of garments and also some items for sort of decorating the home. And I'm really looking forward to sharing them all with you. And what I'm planning to do in this video is talk about my sewing makes first, and then I'll include my knitting makes towards the end of the video. And if you enjoy this video and the sort of Christmassy makes content, I thought I'd mention that last year I also filmed a similar video talking about the makes I'd made in last year and in previous years. So I'll include the link to that video down below in case after you finish this video you fancy watching another one and having a sort of double Christmassy makes video session. But before I start talking about my this year's Christmas projects, I thought I'd share with you what I'm wearing today. And since I'm filming a Christmassy video, I thought I would wear a fairly Christmassy dress. And this dress I made using this pattern here, which is the Indigo dress and blouse pattern by Tulip and the Buttons. I think it's one of Tulip and the Buttons' most popular patterns. I guess it was released maybe a couple of years ago now. It's a really nice pattern for woven fabrics. I'll show you the line drawings. So there's a blouse and a dress option, and the whole shape of it is fairly loose, sort of smock dress type shape with a sort of empire line, waistline. And you can make a kind of simple blouse or dress with these kind of bracelet sleeves, or you can make it with these sort of flouncy sleeves. And there's also an option, which is quite hard to see on the line drawings, I'll try and zoom in along here, to add a little sort of seam frill too as an extra detail. And it's got bust darts, kind of simple round neckline, which is finished by facing. And yeah, you can either add a gathered skirt or sort of flouncy bottom to the top. So yeah, it's a really nice pattern. I've made 3 versions, and this is my most Christmassy one. In terms of sizing, there are 2 size bands on this pattern, so there's quite a broad size range. There is a UK 6 to 24 size range and a UK 16 to 34 size range. So that takes you from a 30-inch bust on the smallest size up to a 56-inch bust on the largest size. And in terms of fabrics, the pattern recommends light to medium weight fabrics with a bit of drape, including cotton, lawn or viscose. And for my version here, I used a really lovely cosy brushed viscose fabric. So it's a bit like a kind of flannel cotton fabric, but with a slightly different feel to it. And it's in this kind of really cute sort of tartany or check with the navy and a sort of dark green colours. And I got this fabric from Stone Fabrics, and I'll link their website down below. So I think this was the 3rd Indigo dress I made. I made 3 in quite quick succession, and I haven't made one since. Because I've got enough in my wardrobe, I guess, rather than not liking the pattern. My first 2 I made in a size 1.5, so grading between a 1 and a 2. But for this version, I actually sized down to a 1. I'm usually a Tilly size 2, but this pattern has quite large finished garment measurements. I think it's designed to be a bit oversized, and I didn't want it to be too oversized. So yeah, I made my first 2 in size 1.5 and thought I could maybe go a little bit smaller. And yeah, this one's come out nicely in size 1. So it is designed for bust 30-inch, waist 24 inches, hips 33 inches. And I'm bust 32, waist 26, hips 36. But there's still enough room in this. And the only adjustment I made, actually I made a couple of adjustments to this. I lengthened the body just slightly. So it falls, I guess, somewhere between empire and my natural waist. And I also lengthened the sleeves, so they're not bracelet length, they're sort of full length, because I wanted it to be really cosy for winter. But I really enjoy wearing this dress. It's really comfy. It was a fairly straightforward sew too. There's no fastenings, you can just slip it on over your head. Oh, and I'll put a picture up of me wearing it so you can see what it looks like on. But the brushed viscose fabric is really cosy and snuggly. Oh, and also I thought I'd mention I didn't include any seam frills on this version. I just wanted to keep it really simple. It's a really nice one to wear. The brushed viscose is really snuggly, and I do think the colour of it makes it a bit Christmassy too. So that's what I'm wearing today, but now I'll move on to sharing some of the Christmassy items I've been making this year. And the first item I've got to share is a top, and I made it using some leftover fabric from another project, and the fabric is very Christmassy. I'll show you it here. This is a cotton jersey fabric that I got from the Maker's Merchant, and I'll link their website down below. But yeah, it's a really nice, stretchy, nice quality cotton jersey with a red base and these white stars on. And I'd originally got this with a view to making something Christmassy, some sort of Christmassy garment, a couple of years ago. But I think I hadn't made anything in time for Christmas, and so the fabric had sat in my stash until I used it to make a Tabitha t-shirt dress by Tulip and the Buttons, and it comes from Tulip and the Buttons' Make It Simple book. It's a really nice, relaxed t-shirt sort of dress pattern. with a sort of drawstring waist. But it's a very summery garment, and I always get my version out in the summer. So I had enough fabric left just about to squeeze another garment out, some sort of top. So I thought I'd use that to make something I can wear actually around Christmas, given this fabric is so Christmassy. So I decided to use this pattern here. And this is the Agnes top pattern by Tilly and the Buttons, which is a jersey top pattern. And I really like this pattern. It's got a really sort of simple silhouette that makes it a perfect kind of simple, easy everyday jersey top. So here are the line drawings. It's quite a fitted jersey top. You can either make it with long sleeves or shorter sleeves. It's got this scoop neck, and you can add a sort of ruching at the front or on the sleeves if you want, but I particularly like this sort of simple version here. In terms of sizing, it doesn't have the best size range ever. It goes from a size UK 6 to a UK 20, and the size 20 is a bust 44 inches, waist 38 inches and hips 47 inches. But I figured out I had just enough fabric to squeeze out a short sleeve version of the Agnes top. I didn't have enough for the long sleeve version. And here is my Agnes top. So yeah, I really like how it's turned out with the short sleeves actually. So I made the straightforward version without any ruching, but I did actually change the neckline of the top. Instead of making the scoop neckline, I borrowed the neckline from the Mandy boat tee, and that is a free pattern by Tessuti. It's a really nice pattern for a more relaxed fit jersey top. But it's got this boat neck, and I really like how it comes together. You sort of use twin needle stitching, and it's a really neat finish across the neckline, and it's quite a quick and easy neckline to do too. And I really like how my versions come out with the Mandy boat neckline. I think I'll get a lot of wear out of this for Christmas. I think it'll be quite nice actually having a short sleeve top, because I'll be able to sort of layer it up underneath Christmas jumpers, or maybe underneath dungaree dresses and skirts and that sort of thing. And in terms of sizing, I made my standard Tilly size, which is size 2, which is for bust 32 inches, waist 26 inches, hips 35 inches, and my hips are 36 inches, but because it's stretchy fabric, I've never found the need to grade up on the hips. It is quite a close fitting top though. I'll put up a picture so you can see what it looks like on me. In this picture, I'm just wearing it with a ready-to-wear skirt. But yeah, I'm planning on mixing it up and trying it out with a few different looks this Christmas. So that is my first Christmassy make. So the next item I've got to share with you that I sewed for this Christmas is a bit of a fun one. And I guess I describe it as an accessory rather than a garment, but it is something to wear. And it is the Tilly collar by Tilly and the Buttons. So the Tilly collar is a free pattern that Tilly and the Buttons released this year for a sort of oversized collar that you can add on top of outfits to kind of accessorise them and jazz them up a little bit. And I'll put a picture up so you can see what it looks like. So it's a detachable collar that just has a little tie at the front, and it's quite oversized with a ruffle around the edge. And it's really easy to download this pattern. You just go on Tilly and the Buttons website, you can download it, and there's also a blog post there with instructions for how to make it. And I think there might also be a YouTube tutorial on how to make it too. But yeah, it was really easy to get. And the reason I decided to make this collar is, firstly, I'd kind of been eyeing up for a while, because I really love the collar on the Bakerloo dress that has a really oversized collar, and I really enjoy that style. And I know it's a style that's quite in fashion now, and I like the idea that you can pop it on an outfit and then take it off again, so it kind of makes an outfit a bit more flexible. So I decided to give it a go, but for my first version I decided to make a Christmassy version. And the reason why is, we've been invited to a Christmas party and you have to dress up, and I didn't want to buy a whole dressing up outfit that I probably wouldn't use again. So I thought if I could make a couple of items to jazz up my own clothes and turn it into an outfit, that'll make more sense and be a bit more wearable and usable going forward. So I decided I will be dressing as an elf. So I thought I could make the Tilly and the Buttons collar in sort of elf kind of colours, and then add it to an outfit to turn me into an elf for this party. So this is my version here. And I made it, as you can see, in sort of elf or Christmassy colours with like a sort of deep green and this red ruffle. And it was a really fun make actually. I'll put it on so you can see. I think it even looks quite fun on this Indigo dress actually. But it was a really fun make. I made mine in cotton poplin. So I got these 2 cotton poplins from Minerva, and it was quite a simple to whip up. You don't need a lot of fabric, and there's just one size fits all. So yeah, I'm really pleased how it turned out. It was a fun make. It was a bit fiddly in places, particularly in sort of sewing in the ruffle and making sure you don't catch it when you're sewing the 2 sort of pieces of the collar together. But it's quite a neat make and comes together pretty quickly. And I actually really like how it looks. I thought I'd only wear it for the elf costume, but actually I quite like how it jazzes up sort of another outfit to make it a bit more Christmassy. So I'll show you a picture of me wearing it here, and I've got it on with a green top and my Megan Nielsen Brumby skirt, and I think it looks quite fun and Christmassy just with that outfit too. So yeah, it was a really fun make, and I'm quite tempted actually to make another version in sort of less Christmassy colours that I could wear at other times of the year and just pop on over dresses and tops to add an extra element to an outfit. So that is my Tilly collar. So for my elf costume, I also decided to make a green top too to wear as part of the costume. I thought a green top would go really well with a Tilly collar, and I didn't have one in my wardrobe already, but I thought if I made a plain green jersey style top, it's something I'd be able to get a lot of wear out of outside of the Christmas period too. So I made a green top for my elf costume and for general wear, again using this pattern here, the Agnes top pattern, because it is a great jersey top pattern. And here is my version. So again, as with my star print t-shirt, I used a boat neck using the Mandy boat tee pattern because I really like the style of that neckline and I thought it would look good with a collar over the top. And for this version, I made it long sleeved. And I made it using this really lovely cotton jersey from Minerva. It's their organic cotton jersey, and it is the softest jersey. It's so snuggly. And this is in the emerald green colour. It's a really pretty, I think it's coming up as a bit of a lighter green on the camera, but it's a really rich, deep green. So yeah, I thought it would work really well with my Tilly collar. And again, I made it in a size 2, my standard size 2, and I like the fit of that. And I'll put up a picture again so you can see I'm wearing it again. This is the same picture as I showed before. That is my green top, this green top that I'm wearing with the Tilly collar, and I like how it looks. So I'm really pleased with how that top turned out, and it's definitely one I'll get wear out of during the rest of the year. I really like that colour of green, and I think it'll be great with a skirt or just a pair of jeans for the rest of the year too. So the next make I've got to share with you is one I made a little bit earlier in the year, but it's a really Christmassy one, so I wanted to include it in this video, and particularly since I'm going to wear it as part of my elf costume too. And it's going to be my elf skirt, and it's a skirt I made using this pattern here, which is the Tulip skirt pattern by Sew Over It. And it's a really lovely skirt pattern for a sort of fairly mini skirt, length skirt with a fitted waist. And the lovely thing about it is this pretty tulip shape, which is achieved with these sort of fronts of slanted pleats. And it's got darts at the back to bring it in and an invisible zip. And it's designed for confident beginners. I guess the invisible zip's the fiddly bit probably. But actually the instructions on this pattern for the invisible zip are really great. And I often return to them if I'm inserting invisible zips on other projects. So I really like these instructions. In terms of sizing, it hasn't got the greatest size range ever. It goes from a UK size 8 to a UK size 20, and that's from the smallest size being for waist 26 inches, hips 36 inches, up to the largest size, which is waist 38 inches and hips 48 inches. So it's not, the biggest size range ever. And one thing I thought I'd mention about this pattern is that for my size, which is the size 8, it says you need 1.8 metres of fabric. But actually I found I needed quite a lot less. I made my skirt using a remnant of fabric that was 1.6 metres, and I had quite a lot left over even then, so you can definitely squeeze out of a bit smaller amount of fabric. And in terms of fabric requirements, the important thing for this skirt is to have a fabric that has a bit of body and weight to it, just so it holds the tulip shape. I had originally made a version of this skirt in quite a fine baby cord, and it really didn't hold the shape well at all. So I made my version this year in this really lovely cotton twill fabric that I got from Sew Me Sunshine as a remnant. It's coming up really bright on the camera. It's not quite as bright as that, but it's a really lovely shade of red. And I've got the lovely pleats at the front and then the invisible zip at the back. And it's got the pockets, and the pockets are in quite a festive kind of print too, I think. This sort of little kind of festive cranberry print. So yeah, this is my version. I made the size 8, which is for waist 26 inches, hips 36 inches, and that fits me really well. Did I make any adjustments? The only thing I changed was the position and the shape of the pockets, as when I made my previous version in the baby cord, I found the pockets sat a little bit low and they were a funny shape too, so I borrowed the pocket pattern piece from another pattern, I can't remember which one, and moved them slightly higher, and I feel that feels more comfortable to wear like that. But I put up a picture of me wearing this skirt. This is a picture of me wearing it obviously in summer. I probably wouldn't go outside with just the t-shirt and the skirt on in this weather at the moment because it's really cold out there. But that's the picture of me wearing it in summer where you can see the full skirt. And it's just a really nice one to wear, and it's one I will be wearing all year round, but it will also work really well for my elf costume. So I'll show you a little peek of me as an elf. This was my trial run. We haven't had the party yet, but this was my trial run of me as an elf. I didn't make the hat, I must admit, I bought that hat, but the rest of it is handmade and I'm looking forward to wearing it, and I'm glad that all the elements I've made are hopefully get a bit of wear out of going forward too. So the next Christmassy make I've got to share with you is not one for me, but it's actually one for my daughter. And I made it a little bit earlier in the year, but I wanted to include it in this video as it's definitely a Christmassy one. And it's a dress that I made for my daughter using this pattern here, which is the Pansy dress pattern by Poppy and Jazz. This is a lovely, simple jersey dress pattern. I've used it so many times for both my daughter and my niece. Its size range or age range is for newborn to 6 years. It's a really simple jersey dress pattern. It's got a crew neck, a little gathered skirt and long sleeves, but it's so simple it lends itself really well to pattern hacking. I've made short sleeve versions, I've added sort of ruffle hems and ruffles on the cuffs, I've colour blocked it, so I've done lots of different things with this pattern. And the version I've got to show you here is one that I made in really Christmassy fabric that was very kindly gifted to me by First for Fabrics, and here it is. It is the cutest fabric. My daughter loved this fabric when I showed it to her. It's got all sorts of Christmassy unicorns and presents and snowflakes. So yeah, perfect little Christmas dress. And it's in this really lovely soft jersey fabric that was from First for Fabrics. And for this version, I added on a little ruffle on the sleeve just to make it a little bit different. And I borrowed this ruffle from another pattern I have for children, which is the Ikati Jasmine sweatshirt. It's another lovely, it's a jersey sweatshirt pattern that I've made for my daughter also. Yeah, so that ruffle just add a little bit extra. And then it's just got a simple gathered skirt on. And in terms of sizing for this one, I traced out the size 4 a while ago, and I've just continued to use that for my daughter, even though she's 5 now and nearly 6, because it's quite roomy in terms of the width of this pattern. So all I've done when I've cut out this version is lengthen the body and the skirt slightly, and the sleeve length also. But I haven't needed to retrace the pattern in a larger size yet, and I seem to be getting away with that because my daughter's fairly slight and this pattern does have a bit of room in around the sort of body. So I'll put up a picture of my daughter wearing it. She really loves it. She's been wearing it for a while, even outside of the Christmas period, because I think the print is Christmassy, but not so Christmassy that it looks obvious and would look funny to wear other times of year. But she loves it, and I think it's a cute little Christmassy dress, and hopefully she'll get more wear out of it now as we're getting closer to Christmas. So that was all of my Christmassy sewing projects that I've got to share with you for this year. But I've also got a couple of Christmassy knitting projects to share too, that I've had a lot of fun knitting, and I think they're quite cute. And the first, actually they both come from this book here. And this is the King Cole Christmas Knits Book 3. It's a really lovely book with some really fun Christmassy knitting projects in. And I originally bought this book to make the Knitted Nativity, which you can see here. And I finished that project last year, and it's in my previous last year's Christmas makes video, which I'm going to link down below if you fancy seeing my full nativity. But I had a lot of fun with that. And then the other week I had a spare few evenings where I was waiting for some wool to arrive on a project and I wanted something to do. So I had a little browse through this book and found a couple of other fun projects to get my teeth stuck into. And I was able to make these projects actually using yarn I already had, which I think is always a win. And the first project is this one here, which is the mini sweater decorations. And they're these really cute little decorations designed to hang on a tree. And there's 3 different variations of this pattern. You can make a sort of cable knit sweater, or you can make this plain sweater, which is using, I think, a Christmas yarn by King Cole. Or there's this little version with a snowflake on the front. And then it also suggests you make little hangers for the sweatshirts to hang them on the tree using sort of craft wire. So I decided for my versions to make the cable knit version, because I do love a bit of cabling, and I think that's such a Christmassy stitch, the cable knit stitch, because it's so chunky. And I had some plain wool that I thought would work well with this. So I'll show you my 3 versions. So yeah, I've made 3 of them, and here they all are. So I made the patterns for double knit, and this is double knit I had left over actually from my nativity from last year. These 2 colours here I used for the kings, so they're all sparkly, and this sparkly white I used for the angel. So yeah, here are my 3 little sweaters. They were a lot of fun to knit, and I also got the craft wire. I got this from Amazon and did make the little hangers too. And I'm planning on probably putting one on our tree, and then I'll probably gift the other 2 to my mum and my sister for their trees. But yeah, they're a lot of fun to knit. They're really cute, and I was glad to be able to make them out of yarn I already had too. I think they're sweet little sparkly sweaters, and they'll be perfect for the tree. So like I mentioned, I also made one other knitting project from this King Cole Christmas Knits book this year. And this project was these really cute fairy lights. And they're designed, as you can see, to be sort of hung on a fireplace or something similar for Christmas. And I thought it would be really fun to make some fairy lights that actually don't need any electricity and are just there kind of to look cute on their own. So I again was able to make this project using wool I already had. It's another project for double knit. and I used some more of the wool I had used to make my kings for my nativity project. So I've got the sparkly reds and blue that you saw on the little knitted sweaters, but I also had sort of mustard and purple colours. So I used those to make my little garland, and I used the black again I'd already got. So here is my little string of fairy lights. As you can see, it's fairly long. Here they all are. And they're a really fun project. They came together really nicely, and I had some toy sort of filling left over from my knitted dogs and cats project, so I filled them with that. And I've taken them down now, but they had been hanging on over our mirror above our fireplace. I'll put a picture up so you can see how they look in situ. But they're a fun project, and I think they're really cute and a bit different to your kind of traditional fairy lights. So yeah, another fun knit from this King Cole Christmas Knits book. And I'll link this book down below in case you fancy getting it and trying some of the projects yourself. There are still a couple of projects I haven't tried in here that I may give a go at some point too. It's a really nice book and really clear instructions to use too. So those two knitted makes are the final items I've got to share with you in this Christmassy makes video. I hope you've enjoyed hearing a little bit about what I've been sewing and knitting for Christmas this year. I do love sewing and knitting for Christmas. I do find it gets me into the Christmas spirit before Christmas fully starts. If you've been sewing and knitting for Christmas too, I'd love to hear what you've been making. If you drop me a line in the comments below, I always love to hear from you. And I'll pop a link up to my last year's Christmas Makes vlog too, just in case you do fancy checking that one out and seeing a few more of the things I've made for Christmas in years gone by. So thank you so much for watching. If you've enjoyed this vlog, I'd love it if you give it a thumbs up. And if you haven't subscribed already, I would love it if you would subscribe too. So all that remains is for me to wish you a very Merry Christmas, and I'll see you again for another vlog soon. Bye!